What's up, everybody? It's Aftermath Digital. We're in for a colossal episode today because we're going to talk about our wins for the week. We've got Anthony Corelli, Jimmy Carderas, and Kevin Mickey. How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Tremendous.
So many
moving
thumbs
tomorrow.
up.
I'm
You're moving tomorrow.
Big day, man. Big day.
Good call, man. Get out of here. That's the plan.
Anthony was drafted. He's on
You
his
were
way
drafted.
out.
There you
Anthony
go.
was drafted.
Yeah.
Drafted to Georgian Bay.
That's fantastic. Well, I hear they've got a great show. So we're going to start with our wins, and I'm going to get started because Jimmy and I have sort of the same win, but I'm going to say this. I am really enjoying on SmackDown Roman Reigns cutting a promo from The Office like the Godfather. The tribal chief looks like he's too good to come out of the office. Also, a well-appointed office, by the way. And I like that Paul Heyman kind of hung back. He's doing a very different thing than he did with Brock Lesnar, speaking when Roman Reigns tells him to go speak for him, as opposed to doing all the talking like he did for Brock Lesnar. Roman barely looks at the camera. He's so in charge. He's so much the leader, and it's in his head that he is the tribal chief, and everybody better respect him. It's very Godfather, and I really, really like it.
No, I totally agree. It's also my win because to me right now, when I watch WWE television and I see Roman Reigns on my screen, he is must-see television. He has drawn me in, and that's the big thing. You know, people talk about the moves and being able to do this. The whole idea of this industry is to get people invested in you, wanting to come and see you, whether it's on television, whether it's to go buy a ticket to see you live. Roman Reigns is doing that right now, and he has found his wheelhouse. He's in a groove. You know, we talked about Randy Orton going into this rivalry with Drew McIntyre. You know, Orton is Orton. You know, like there's no denying it as one of the best ever at what he does. Roman Reigns is starting to enter that category now where, hey, maybe we should start talking about this guy could be the next, I don't mean disrespectfully to him, but next Randy Orton or whoever, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's funny how long it's taken. I mean, Seth and Roman have now been here several years, and just coming into their own stride, it just goes to show you that it's, you know, it takes some time sometimes to find that special character that you can just really sink your teeth in.
Yeah. What I really like too, Nug, you mentioned it, is Paul Heyman. He's not the super loud, boisterous guy he was with Brock Lesnar. He's almost got that kind of Jake the Snake feel when he's giving that promo that's quiet. He really draws you into the camera. He really makes you want to listen. It's very quiet, but it's effective in the way Paul Heyman's presenting himself right now. And then in turn, it really helps the way that Roman's presenting both himself as well. They're both quiet. You both want to listen to what they're saying. You got to listen to what the tribal chief is saying. So you really got to pay attention all the time, I feel, with those guys right now.
And really quickly, to capitalize on what you just said, there was that moment with him and Jey Uso where he hugged him and he was kind of whispering in his ear, but the mic was kind of there strategically, so you could kind of pick up but you had to listen intently. And I found myself like inching closer to the TV and grabbing the remote and turning up the volume, going, "What's he saying to him?" And he's telling
Nice.
he's telling him, "I love you" and stuff like that. It just he's on point right now.
Yeah, it's funny. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, how many times over the years have we seen a wrestler yell and scream, and we're all like, all right. And now we've got a wrestler just nicely chatting, almost ASMR style, telling you how he's going to murder you. And you're like, oh, this guy's dead serious. You cannot discount a guy who's speaking quietly.
Yeah, it's funny because Paul Heyman to me still has kind of the same effect if you allow your imagination to fill in the blanks a little bit. Before he was speaking for Brock Lesnar and seemed, pulling the string, so to speak, with regards to the direction of Brock Lesnar's career goes. And now those little subtle comments, you can still pull the strings with these little comments in the person's ear and give them the feeling that they're in charge. But really these little directions are actually steering the ship. So it's, I really enjoy that.
Yeah. Tell us what else you enjoy, Anthony. Tell us what your win was this week.
Man, it was almost a very good win. But the Women's Battle Royal, there was just some really cool spots. There were so many. It really kind of pointed out how many different storylines are going on at the same time because there were so many spotlighted moments, and now they can go off, branch off, and continue those spotlighted moments and the rivalries. But the depth in the curve. They didn't have to call up anybody. You know, it was just this is what we got. This is the women's division, and it was super solid. And the finish, some of the fighting on the apron and the outside was fantastic.
No, I agree. And what I liked about it too was I don't think anybody saw that coming. I don't think anybody saw the winner of the match coming. And we talk about wanting to be surprised and wanting to be. Don't get me wrong. I think Natalya versus Asuka would have made for a tremendous match. But at the same time, this kind of intrigues me now in a different kind of way. I'm curious to see how Lana can hang.
She can't hang.
Well, you know, we say that now, but hey, stranger things have happened.
I'm with Anthony. I like how this kind of spotlighted the depth of the women's division, and we didn't even have Charlotte Flair in the match. And Becky's still away right now, pregnant. So there's still a lot of depth in the women's division in WWE, which has the deepest roster of women in all of professional wrestling anywhere. And it just really highlighted what already is a pretty solid roster, and there's already a couple pieces missing from that. So it was cool to see them all in one spot. Just a good highlight of what is a really awesome women's division.
Yeah, you usually worry about who's not there. You know, Charlotte wasn't there, Becky wasn't there, and Caroline would absolutely want me to mention that Ronda Rousey wasn't there.
Oh, yes.
But it still went very well, and I look forward to some of the storylines, what the future could hold based on some interactions in that match. I know people are moving from show to show, but with people landing where they have on various shows, like Lacey Evans on Raw with the roster they have, I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. She stood out. And one thing they kept in mind, the way you win a battle royal is obviously going over the ropes and landing on the outside. It's not just by beating each other in the ring. When you beat someone to a pulp in the ring, you're not getting any closer to victory until you try and throw them over or through the ropes to the outside. So there was a lot of that. And that's what added the drama. You know, originally when someone's getting pinned and it's 1, 2, that same thing in a battle royal is when their feet are dangling and their feet are almost touching, that so close to victory. And they were playing with that. And often a pet peeve of mine is when I see guys in battle royals just beating the crap out of each other, and it does nothing for, you know, it's like a regular match. If you beat somebody and never try and pin them, you're never getting close to victory. So anyway, it was very well done.
Yes, very, very well done. Kevin, your win, what did you think was well done this week?
Well, there's this thing that I like when I watch Raw and SmackDown, and you guys can stop me if you're not a fan of it, but when I watch these professional wrestling shows, I love professional wrestling on the shows.
What?
And what's really tough to do sometimes is a show where there's the draft happening and there's a lot of gaga outside the ring stuff. On SmackDown and Raw this week, there was a lot of good professional wrestling going on. Let's run down a list of some of the really good matches. We had the Falls Count Anywhere match between Big E and Sheamus. That was a pretty dope match. Triple threat match between Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, and Jeff Hardy. 3 awesome wrestlers. They put on a really good show. Kevin Owens and Aleister Black. That was a great match. Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. Really creative, unique finish. And then New Day versus Ziggler and Rude for the tag titles. Really enjoyed that as well. So kudos, hats off. I'm not wearing a hat to all the fantastic professional wrestling on the professional wrestling shows this week. It is what I want to see. It's what I tune in to see.
You're preaching to the choir, my friend, and I may have to change my win now to 2 things you brought up. A, you used the term gaga, which I laughed my butt on that one. And 2, the creative finish that you talked about in the Cedric Alexander Ricochet match. A tremendous ode and shout out to the late great Eddie Guerrero, who I had the privilege, honor, and pleasure of getting to be have him lie, cheat, and steal on me many times, and I have never been happier to have someone get one over on me than when it was with Eddie Guerrero. I used to love those things.
Yeah, I mean, pro wrestling, who would have thought? But you know what? The roster is so rock solid. If I was an up-and-coming professional wrestler, let's say in NXT, it has to be an intimidating situation. How am I going to penetrate that roster when everyone is so damn good?
I got to say, I enjoyed that finish so much. I remember a nice tribute to Eddie Guerrero, but I got to give Ricochet a huge, huge round of applause for hitting the chair, throwing it to Cedric, and then doing the dramatic feint. The dramatic feint is that he had got the vapors and landed on a fainting couch. It was wonderful.
That's
Absolutely one of the best things this week. But what did you think were the best things this week, guys? Let us know on Twitter by checking out Jimmy Corderas' Twitters. Just send everything to him. And if you have any questions, of course, send the hashtag AskAftermath. Those were our wins. Stay tuned for our fails, and we'll talk about the draft and much more, plus trivia.